So now we're in Lissberg at the old ruined castle. Hey, there's the tower, some of the outer wall, just a little bit of it. This is a war monument to the fallen soldiers from this town or area in the last two world wars. Here's the first entranceway. There's not much left on this one anymore. We'll go over here to these two diagrams and I'll tell you a little bit about the castle. Okay, here we go. They figure for about back at least 2,000 years, the Celts were living up here and they had a huge ring wall that's made out of earth and stone. Some of those things got big. I know of one place quite a ways from here where it was estimated to be 8 stories tall. Okay, 1222 was the first thing that was ever written about this castle. In 1396, some of them died out, and then it was just taken over by a series of different people. In 1618, they built the church here behind me. In 1620, the castle and the church were plundered in a war. 1635, 142 people died from the pest or the Black Plague. 1796, the castle was destroyed by the French army, and it just runs on down like that through as to when they finally fixed this place up. Now we'll go into the castle here. One is where we're standing at now. This is the first entrance. What kind of houses and what all they had out here, I don't know. We'll come into the next entrance. 2 is where the tax collector had his office. They would be, they collected, if you came in here to sell stuff or do things, they would collect 10% from you. 3 is where they stored the fruit at, maybe other items too. Okay, number 4 is the wall here. 5, that is where the chapel used to be. Oh, behind the chapel where the 4 is, there is probably a living area in there also. 6 is the old water supply, a well. 7 is the kitchen, and the water supply was inside of the kitchen. 8 is the main house where everybody lived at. And number 9 is the tower. So let's go on down to here. The tower is 9 meters wide, 27 meters high, sorry about that, and the walls are 3.6 meters thick. The entrance is 9 meters up, and that would come from a walkway from the main house up there, which I'll show you in a minute. This is probably the guard shack or the guard post. As you see the walls, I imagine they had a small building here to keep them out of the weather. Maybe if they were lucky, they had heat. So we're still outside of the castle grounds. This area here, where you see the green grass behind the trees, that is called For der Burg. That would be loosely translated into in front of the castle. And I see a small window up there. I guess that was a fighting position. Then over here, we have the next entranceway. And you can see that this place is in need of a bit of repair these days. Okay, here's where we just walked through. This is the outer grounds, or the inner grounds, or the middle grounds, if you want to call it, of the castle. Here, somewhere in this area here, is where the tax collector had his office. Now they say that these walls are like 3 meters thick all the way down at the bottom. So that's like 10 feet. That's a lot of stone. And you can see here how big this place is. That is a modern building. That is toilets, because they have concerts, medieval, or they used to have a medieval market up here. They'll have stuff for kids. Over Easter, some friends of mine will be camping up here out of the medieval scene. Okay, here's another little wall. I guess it was some kind of a building or another part of the defenses. No idea. That's the big one up there. Here's is a buttress. What they do is they just support the wall. And yes, the fire department needs water up here also because of all the events going on. Now we're at the third entrance. See, we're getting up into the castle proper. Now, I am not walking up that tower today. I've been here, maybe 10 times, and every single time the door is closed. But you got to walk up at least 27 to 30 feet just to get to the doorway. Now, this is where the post for the wooden doors would fit at. That was up on one side. There it is down here. Let's go on over. You see another one, part of it's been chipped off. And then we go on up. There is the next one. Here's this entrance again from the other side. So here we're going to walk over into another little portion of it. I guess this was another building. Now, if this archway went across all of this, I don't know, or it was just this portion. But from the looks of the rocks, it could have been, the whole thing could have been covered at one time. So, fighting positions and or windows. So if I'm not mistaken, these buttresses here, there's other ones, they would lay a big beam of wood across that, and that would start the floor. And it would bend on this side somewhere also. That's where we just came through. That is a kiosk nowadays. Okay, here where you see the black gravel area, that's where the chapel or the church used to stand. This portion of the building, that's where the kitchens were. And the well for the water supply was inside the kitchen. This section here, this is where the main house used to stand. And it was at least 3 or 4 stories. And I'll show you why in just a second. But first you have here a cellar or basement area. This is just used for storage these days. That is the entrance to the tower. As you see, it's about 30 feet above ground. The stairs are new, or fairly new. This building fell down in the 1800s or 1700s. This one here, the main house, and there was a walkway from up there across to there. That's how they got in and out of the tower back then. Now here we have an interesting little carved stone. I saw this the other week when I was up here. No idea, again. Okay, that's the entrance. A long way up there. Here's the view from the wall where I'm up here by the tower. It's the local creek down there. We got a little lake coming up. I have no idea if there's fish in it or not. They do not allow fishing here. I know, I already asked. Now supposedly somewhere on the other side of that field there's a couple of ruined walls, and this, that's the old church, and somewhere up on one of these hills there's another set of ruins. So I guess we'll catch you on the next one. That's about it for Lissberg.